On a distant planet named Xyrith, the Zeltharans celebrated their power. They were a tall, green-skinned race with sharp features and bright eyes. For centuries, they had ruled over many planets, and they believed they were the strongest beings in the galaxy. Their arrogance made them careless. They thought no one could challenge them. One day, a group of Zeltharan leaders gathered in their grand council chamber. It was a large room filled with glowing screens and strange symbols. The leaders discussed their latest conquest, feeling proud of their victories. Suddenly, one of them, a young leader named Vrax, suggested something bold. "Let's show the galaxy who we really are," he said with a sly grin. "There's a small, weak planet called Earth. I say we send them a message. Let them know their kind is nothing compared to us." The older leaders exchanged glances. They knew Earth was home to humans, a species they had long regarded as primitive. With a flick of a wrist, Vrax activated a huge screen displaying Earth's surface. They saw bustling cities, green fields, and blue oceans, but they only saw weakness. "Send a message filled with insults and threats," Vrax commanded. "Let them know we will come for them if they do not submit." The leaders laughed, their voices echoing through the chamber. They did not realize how dangerous their actions would become. Back on Earth, a quiet morning was unfolding. People went about their daily routines, commuting to work, children playing in the parks, and families enjoying breakfast together. Suddenly, every screen across the globe flickered to life. News anchors, usually calm and collected, looked shocked as they read the alien message. "Humans of Earth, you are foolish and weak. Your planet will soon belong to us. Surrender now or face the consequences." The Zeltharan message filled every home, school, and office. Panic swept across the planet like a wildfire. People gathered in groups, their faces filled with confusion and fear. What did this mean? Who were these aliens? As the news spread, world leaders knew they had to act quickly. An emergency meeting was called at the United Nations in New York City. In the Grand Hall, leaders from different countries rushed to their seats. Tension filled the air. Some leaders shouted for peace talks, while others demanded a military response. The voices rose and fell like a storm. General Alex Rivera, a seasoned military officer with a strong presence, stood up. He cleared his throat, commanding attention. "We cannot let these aliens mock us. We must show them that humanity is not to be underestimated. We need to unite and prepare for whatever comes next." His words sparked a fire in the room. People nodded, remembering the countless struggles and victories of humanity. They knew they had to stand together no matter their differences. The world needed to respond as one. After much discussion, they agreed to a bold plan. They would demonstrate their strength and resolve to the Zeltharans. This would not be just an ordinary show of force. It would be a statement. Humanity was ready to defend its home. As the leaders left the meeting, determination filled their hearts. They knew they were up against a powerful enemy, but they also knew they had something special, the spirit of humanity. They had faced challenges before, and they would face this one together. Meanwhile, the Zeltharans watched their screens, still laughing and mocking humans. They believed they had won the first round. Little did they know, they had awakened a sleeping giant. The spark of unity had been ignited, and humanity was ready to fight back. The world was in a state of shock. The Zeltharan message had rattled every nation, and fear hung in the air like a thick fog. However, in the midst of chaos, a sense of unity began to form. Leaders from all corners of the earth realized they needed to work together to face the impending threat. In New York City, the Grand United Nations Hall buzzed with activity. Delegates from different countries filed in, their faces reflecting a mix of worry and determination. The room, usually filled with polite discussions and friendly debates, was charged with urgency. Everyone knew they had to act fast. As the meeting began, the UN Secretary-General, a tall man with a calm demeanor named Marcus Lee, stood at the podium. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady, "we are facing an unprecedented threat. The Zeltharans think they can intimidate us, but we must show them that humanity stands united." Murmurs filled the room, and some delegates nodded in agreement. However, others were hesitant. "But how can we fight an alien race that is so advanced?" questioned a delegate from a small island nation. "We are still recovering from our last crisis." General Alex Rivera, who had been quietly observing, took a step forward. He had a commanding presence, and everyone turned to listen. "With all due respect," he said firmly, "we have faced many challenges before. We are not weak. Our strength lies in our ability to unite. Together, we can devise a plan to show the Zeltharans that we will not back down." His words resonated with the delegates. They recalled their shared history, how humanity had come together in times of war and disaster. Slowly, they began to brainstorm. Ideas bounced around the room, and the energy shifted from fear to determination. They discussed military strategies, technological advancements, and the importance of gathering intelligence on the alien race. One delegate suggested a show of force, while another proposed a more diplomatic approach. "We need to balance strength with wisdom," said a woman from a leading scientific nation. "Let's demonstrate our technological capabilities without provoking them further." As discussions continued, the delegates realized they needed to gather their best minds. Scientists, engineers, and military experts from various countries were invited to join the effort. A team was formed, dedicated to preparing a plan to defend Earth and counter the Zeltharan threat. Days passed, and the team worked tirelessly. They shared knowledge, pooling resources and expertise. Nations that had once been rivals began to collaborate. Ideas flowed freely, and the atmosphere was charged with hope. In a secure location, the team focused on a secret project, a new, advanced warship that could change the course of the conflict. Engineers worked day and night, using the latest technology to build a vessel capable of maneuvering quickly and hitting hard. General Rivera often visited the site, inspiring the workers with his words of encouragement. "Remember," he would say, "this ship is not just a piece of metal. It represents our unity. It symbolizes our determination to protect our home." Meanwhile, news of the preparation spread across the globe. People watched with a mixture of fear and hope. Social media buzzed with discussions about the aliens. Citizens shared stories of bravery and resilience, rallying around the idea that they were part of something larger than themselves. Finally, after weeks of preparation, the new warship was ready for its first demonstration. A massive crowd gathered at the launch site, filled with reporters, scientists, and military personnel. The atmosphere was electric. Families watched on screens from their homes, eager to witness what humanity could achieve together. As the ship, named Unity, rose into the sky, cheers erupted from the crowd. Its sleek design and powerful engines were a testament to human ingenuity. General Rivera stood proudly, knowing that this was only the beginning. The Zeltharans might have thought they could provoke fear, but humanity had turned their arrogance into strength. With renewed purpose and determination, Earth was ready to stand tall against the threat. The next message to the Zeltharans would not be one of fear, but one of defiance. The day had finally arrived. It was a bright morning, and excitement buzzed through the air. The people of Earth gathered to witness a historic event. The military had planned a grand display of power to send a clear message to the Zeltharans. Humanity was strong, united, and ready to defend their home. At the launch site, thousands of spectators filled the area, and millions more watched on their screens around the world. Flags from every nation waved proudly, symbolizing unity. People cheered, their voices mixing into a powerful roar. Among them, General Alex Rivera stood at the front, heart pounding with pride and determination. He knew this was a crucial moment. As the crowd settled, the announcer's voice boomed across the grounds. "Welcome to the demonstration of Earth's might. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not back down." The audience erupted in applause, their spirits lifted by the words. A massive screen displayed the words Operation Unity in bold letters. It was time to unveil the new warship, the pride of human engineering. General Rivera took a deep breath, stepping forward to address the crowd. "Today we demonstrate our strength," he declared, his voice steady and strong. "We stand united, not just as nations, but as one people. The Zeltharans think we are weak, but we will show them our true power." Cheers filled the air, and the energy surged among the crowd. Then, with a loud roar, the Unity warship emerged from the hangar. Its sleek, metallic body shimmered in the sunlight, and its wings stretched wide. It was a sight to behold, a symbol of hope and strength. The crowd gasped in awe as the ship lifted off the ground, soaring high into the sky. As Unity climbed, the announcer continued, "This warship is equipped with advanced technology and weapons, ready to defend Earth at a moment's notice." The ship performed stunning maneuvers, darting through the air with grace and speed. Everyone watched in amazement as it executed flips and turns, leaving trails of colorful smoke behind. But the demonstration wasn't just about showing off the ship. General Rivera had planned something special. As Unity reached a safe altitude, it began to fire non-lethal rounds into the sky. Brilliant explosions lit up the air, creating beautiful patterns of light. The crowd cheered even louder, feeling a rush of excitement and pride. Meanwhile, in a dark chamber on Zyrith, the Zeltharan leaders watched the display unfold on their screens. Their expressions shifted from laughter to disbelief. Vrax, the young leader who had provoked humanity, clenched his fists in frustration. "They think this is a joke. We must teach them a lesson," he shouted. Back on Earth, the demonstration continued. After the light show, General Rivera took the stage again. "This is not just a show. This is a warning! We are ready to defend our planet. We will not be intimidated." His words resonated deeply with the audience, inspiring a sense of determination. Suddenly, the crowd began to chant, "We are strong! We are united!" The energy was contagious, and people felt a renewed sense of hope. They realized that they were not alone in this fight. They were part of a larger cause, one that transcended borders and differences. As the event concluded, the atmosphere was filled with optimism. General Rivera smiled, knowing they had sent a powerful message. But deep down, he also understood that this was only the beginning. The Zeltharans would not back down easily. They had underestimated humanity, and now it was time to prepare for the challenges ahead. As people left the launch site, they shared stories and encouraged each other. Families hugged, friends high-fived, and strangers smiled at one another. The bond among humans had grown stronger that day. In the days that followed, news of the demonstration spread across the globe. The world felt united in a way it hadn't in years. The people of Earth were ready to fight for their planet and their future. They knew that they could face the Zeltharans together. With hearts full of hope and determination, humanity awaited the response from the Zeltharans. They knew the road ahead would be tough, but they were prepared to stand their ground. The show of power was just the beginning of a new chapter in their fight for survival. After the grand demonstration, the world was buzzing with excitement. People believed they had shown the Zeltharans their strength and determination. But in the shadows, the Zeltharans were plotting their next move. They were not ready to accept defeat, and they had a plan to strike back. Days passed, and the United Nations had become a center of activity. General Alex Rivera and his team worked tirelessly to prepare for any possible attacks. The Unity warship was undergoing final tests, and the military was on high alert. But despite their efforts, they could not shake the feeling of impending danger. On a quiet afternoon, alarms suddenly blared throughout the military base. Red lights flashed and sirens wailed, sending everyone into a frenzy. The voice of a technician crackled over the loudspeaker. "Attention! We have detected a massive fleet approaching Earth! They are identified as Zeltharan ships." Panic swept through the base, but General Rivera quickly gathered his team. "Stay calm!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to prepare for a counterattack. Inform all units to be ready for launch." Within minutes, soldiers scrambled to their positions, adrenaline pumping through their veins. The tension was palpable as they waited for further information. In the command center, screens displayed images of the incoming fleet. The Zeltharan ships were sleek and menacing, gliding through space like dark shadows. "General, the Zeltharan fleet is larger than we anticipated," a young officer reported, his face pale with worry. "They are heading straight for our major cities. Activate our defense systems," Rivera ordered. "We must protect our people." As the soldiers moved into action, people on Earth began to hear the news. Across the globe, fear spread like wildfire. Families gathered in their homes, and people prayed for safety. They had felt strong after the demonstration, but now the reality of the threat was clear. In the skies, the Zeltharan fleet entered Earth's atmosphere, their ships glowing ominously. The general watched from the command center, his heart racing. "This is it," he muttered under his breath. "We must hold our ground." Suddenly, the first wave of Zeltharan ships opened fire. Bright beams of energy shot from their weapons, striking major cities across the planet. Explosions lit up the sky as buildings crumbled and chaos erupted. People screamed and ran for cover. "Return fire!" Rivera shouted, his voice booming through the control room. "All units, engage the enemy!" The Unity warship, now fully operational, took to the sky. As it soared into the chaos, Rivera felt a mix of fear and determination. The crew was ready, and they had trained hard for this moment. It was time to show the Zeltharans that humanity would not back down. As the Unity engaged in battle, it unleashed its weapons, firing powerful blasts at the enemy ships. The air crackled with energy as explosions filled the sky. The crew cheered, their spirits lifted by the sight of their ship in action. They were not just fighting for their planet, they were fighting for their families and their future. But the Zeltharans were relentless. They retaliated with a fury that caught the humans off guard. More ships poured into the atmosphere, overwhelming the defenses. The battle raged on and the stakes grew higher. In the command center, tension escalated as the numbers of damaged ships increased. The technicians shouted reports, and the sounds of alarms filled the room. "General, we are losing units," one officer cried. "We need to regroup." Rivera took a deep breath, fighting to maintain his composure. "Send the reserve units to flank the enemy," he commanded. "We need to create a diversion. Focus on saving civilians. We can't let them suffer!" As the battle continued, the streets below became a scene of chaos. People fled from their homes, and emergency services worked tirelessly to rescue those trapped in the wreckage. The bravery of the first responders inspired others to help. Neighbors banded together, showing the strength of human spirit even in the darkest times. The fight in the sky was intense, with both sides suffering losses. Yet, through the chaos, a determination grew among the soldiers. They fought not only for their survival, but for every person on the ground who looked up with hope. As the sun began to set, casting a red hue over the battlefield, Rivera knew that this fight was far from over. The surprise attack had shaken humanity, but it had also ignited a fire within them. They were ready to stand together against the Zeltharans. With renewed strength and unwavering resolve, the fight for Earth had just begun. The Zeltharans would regret underestimating humanity, for they had awakened a fierce spirit that could not be easily extinguished. The sun began to rise over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was a new day, but the scars from the previous battle were still fresh in the minds of the people. The day before, humanity had faced a fierce attack from the Zeltharans, and the fight was far from over. But amidst the destruction, a new spirit was awakening. General Alex Rivera stood on the balcony of the command center, looking out over the city. The streets were quiet, but he could hear the distant sounds of cleanup crews working tirelessly to restore order. The devastation from the attack was immense, but so was the determination of the human spirit. Rivera felt a sense of pride as he thought about how people had come together in the face of danger. As he turned back inside, a young officer approached him. "General, we've received reports from around the world. People are rallying together, offering help to those in need. They want to rebuild." Rivera nodded, feeling hope spark within him. "That's what we need. Unity will be our greatest weapon against the Zeltharans. We must show them that they cannot break us." In the days that followed, cities across the globe worked hard to recover. Volunteers filled the streets, clearing debris and offering assistance to those affected. Food and supplies poured in from every corner of the world, demonstrating the strength of humanity's compassion. News of people helping one another spread like wildfire, reminding everyone of their shared humanity. Meanwhile, in the command center, military leaders were developing a new strategy. They gathered to discuss the best way to respond to the Zeltharans. Rivera stood at the front addressing the team. "We need to be smarter. The surprise attack showed us that they are stronger than we thought. We must prepare for their next move, but we must also protect our people." An officer raised a hand. "General, what if we reached out to other planets? Maybe we can find allies. If we can unite with others, we could be even stronger." Rivera considered this. "That's a good idea. We must seek allies in the galaxy. It's time to show the Zeltharans that Earth is not alone. We are part of something bigger." As plans took shape, teams were organized to establish communication with neighboring planets. They sent messages into space, hoping to find friends who would stand with them against the Zeltharans. It was a bold move, but the spirit of hope filled the hearts of the people. One evening, as the sun set, the skies filled with the buzz of ships taking off. The Unity warship was now not only a symbol of defense, but also of diplomacy. Rivera stood on the bridge looking out at the stars. "We are not just fighting for our planet. We are fighting for a future where all beings can coexist peacefully." As Unity flew through space, the crew felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were heading into the unknown, hoping to make allies. Every person aboard understood the importance of their mission. They were the ambassadors of Earth, and they needed to show the galaxy that humanity could be a force for good. Days turned into weeks, and the search for allies continued. They traveled to nearby planets, meeting different species and cultures. To their surprise, many were eager to listen to their story. They spoke of the Zeltharons and their aggression, and many were moved by the courage of Earth's people. One planet named Varos offered to help. The leaders of Varos had faced the Zeltharons in the past and understood the threat they posed. They agreed to join forces with Earth, providing advanced technology and support. As the alliance grew, the people of Earth felt a sense of relief. They were not alone anymore. The unity between different planets showed them that peace was possible, and together they could stand against any threat. Back on Earth, the recovery continued. Families rebuilt their homes, and communities strengthened their bonds. The attack had been devastating, but it also sparked a determination that would shape the future. The people now understood the importance of unity and cooperation. As the months passed, the world became a different place. Humanity was no longer just a single planet. They were part of an alliance that spanned the galaxy. The Zeltharans had underestimated them, but now they faced a united front. General Rivera stood on the balcony once again, looking out over the city, now filled with construction and hope. He knew the road ahead would be challenging, but he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had risen from the ashes of destruction, stronger and more united than ever. The fight was far from over, but with allies by their side and a spirit that could not be broken, they were ready for whatever lay ahead. This was a new beginning for Earth, one filled with hope, strength, and the promise of a brighter future.